Yo, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another gameplay video. This time we have myself on the bottom playing Mono Yellow Gotenks. On the top, one of my patrons, John, is playing my Vegeks build. This is the build I did post on the channel last week, my 60 card Vegeks build. If you guys do want to check it out, it is there. I'm going to put an information card in the top right corner of the video, so click on that. The video will be there. And on the bottom, my Yellow Gotenks build is currently on the Patreon. If you want to check that out, support the channel. You can see all my different Gotenks builds: red, yellow, mono yellow, blue, yellow, green, yellow, all that good stuff. So we're starting here with John's turn 1. He is charging the Gotenks Unison, milling 5. I'm checking out his drop area. He does have the Vegeta. Pretty solid turn 1 in terms of getting, 2 free cards, one basically from his leader draw, and the Vegeta being milled. And one thing I've been thinking about, actually, doing a series of videos where I do the coaching videos, but I just record them as we're doing the coaching. So this way, you guys on YouTube, you guys get to hear what we're discussing in real time in terms of coaching. And I thought about that idea. I talked about it with John, talked about it with a few other patrons and people, and it seems to be a really good idea from the feedback I'm getting. And this way, basically, you guys will be able to hear all the different stuff we're discussing right throughout the game. And I actually think it's really beneficial because the way that these coaching sessions have been going, it's actually been going incredibly well. And I feel like we are really helping players here. So I think it's a really good idea. If you guys want to get in on some coaching, go down to the description, check out the Patreon, check out the Gemmy app. You guys can get some coaching with me personally. With that being said, also let me know if you guys want to see that coaching, the coaching videos rather, where it's just a live coaching discussion rather than me going back over with commentary. Let me know what you prefer, my commentary or maybe hearing the straight up coaching. That being said, John definitely has the advantage here. He's on his turn 2 with Vegeks. He's milling very well. He has the Supreme Kai, he has the Trunks, he has a Vegeta on board. I am pretty much just taking a ton of damage here. So I've taken, I believe, 1 from the leader, taking a second one from Vegeta here. And we'll see where this continues to go. He's going to activate the Boo in his drop area. At the end of his turn, he'll discard 1 and draw 2. Passing over to me. My hand is looking pretty good, but so is John's. I think one minor difference I would have made from John's perspective is maybe not charging that Gotenks Unison. Like, yeah, you're really hoping to mill it and then get it into play that way, but if you don't happen to mill it, you may want to actually play it down because it is one of your more integral win cons towards the later part of the game. But definitely not the worst thing in the world. He could have another copy in his hand. He could mill it. That would be very helpful on his end. So going to his turn 3 here, he's charging a Fu mission accomplished. And to be honest, guys, if you guys haven't seen the deck profile, this build of Vegeks does not play Saiyan Instinct Son Goku. So if you do decide to build it, I think you can definitely build Vegeks very competitively and save yourself about $500. Now, with that being said, of course, the Saiyan Instincts is getting reprinted relatively soon, so that is pretty nice. We don't necessarily know what the price will settle to. Probably something pretty cheap because those event pack cards usually are not too expensive. They're usually pretty easy to get, but just because of the type of card that Saiyan Instincts is, I could probably see it maybe being around a $20 card, maybe less. I'm not 100% sure, but that's kind of my speculation. So he's going Trunks into the Vegeta here. The nice thing about that combo is at the end of the turn, or really at any point in the turn he wants to do it, the Vegeta will put itself and the Trunks in the warp, making his fusion plays very easy since the 6-drop space-time synthesis Vegeks allows you to fuse from the warp. Very, very good card there. But we are getting the Bardock Raiders Warcry into play just to stave off some aggro and tap that Vegeta, get a nice beater on the board. And we'll see what John's able to do past that. So he is going to use the activate main of Vegeta. Going to pass turn. The Vegeta does also draw him a card, which I believe is just a little bit late on, but he'll get that card to his hand. Yep, he gets it right there. So we're charting Dispos at this point. Unfortunately, we haven't seen our Gogeta Unison, so we can't free play the Dispo, but that's okay. It makes it pretty easy energy. I'm still a really big fan of that Gogeta and Dispo combo. It's just, a lot of free value turn 2. That crit pressure is great against non-self-awakening leaders. It's very, very good. So it looks like John's going to negate there, and he's going to block here. The Bardock swing, save his Vegeta. Thinking about playing the Unite Assemble, but I kind of want to just be defensive with my energy. I don't want to be too free form with it. And worst case scenario, I can activate battle the Unite Assemble on his turn. So we'll see if that happens. Now, I'm checking out his drop area to see what he mills, and it's pretty nice that he has 2 Bivities in there. Like, of course he can recycle them, but at least he has to go through a little bit of work to recycle them, if that makes sense. So I'm pretty happy to see that for sure. He doesn't really mill anything he can play, which is always a good thing to see. He has very easy ability to play the 5-drop Goku Xeno, though, which I'm assuming is coming down this turn. He can also play a plethora of different Vegexes, so we'll see what happens with that. We're going to tap the Vegeta with his Monster Super Combo. We're going to use Bergamo, tapping 2 of his energy, so that pretty much guarantees he's not going to Vegex me this turn. He can use the Champ Pack promo and pay 2 for Fusion, but that's going to cost him a lot more in terms of his board presence for a more subpar effect, because the 6-drop kind of just comes into play, doesn't really do anything, but the Space-Time Synthesis comes in, it picks up a card from his Warp, and has Double Strike as well. So definitely the better way to go about it here. But he is going to Xeno Evolve the Goku, so that's pretty big pressure there. I think at this point I'm at about 5 or 6 life. I want to say 6 life. So he's going to go Xeno Goku into Bardock. We're going to activate Nimbus. We're not going to discard a yellow card. Definitely don't want to just like shotgun and discard a yellow card every single time you use Nimbus, because a lot of the times it's just not going to be worth it. You know, I know that John's turn is pretty much over after that Goku attack. He doesn't really have any more attackers. He's used most of his energy, and he doesn't play a ton of Overwhelm in the deck, so there's no real reason there to use the Nimbus. I am going to charge one of the Basils because I have 3 other copies in my hand, and you can only control 1 on the field. But I can play Basil here, and I can get the dual attack, which is pretty good value. Like, I could use that to clear the Vegeta and then put some pressure on the leader. But before that, I'm going to draw a card with my leader to get all my options here. I'm drawing into another copy of Saiyan Instincts. That SS4 Vegeta is so good, but unfortunately I don't have the Gogeta Unison on board. I do also play 2 copies of the Vegeta Unison, but we have not seen to draw that either, which is a little bit unfortunate. I even also play 1 copy of Maki Kabura, also haven't drawn that. So, not that like my situation is terrible. I think I'm in a pretty decent position. I think the game state's pretty even right now, but would have been a little nice if I could have seen those cards. So we're going Basil into Vegeta just to clear it out. He's in a combo to save it. Let's go Bergamo into the Goku Xeno. Now I combo off the Basil here, and I want to say I think this is a really good play, not to like pat myself on the back, but definitely a good learning point, because I can play another Basil here. It's a 1-drop 19k dual attacker with this type of board state, which is something you definitely have to understand. It restands itself. I got value because John did combo a card to save the Vegeta, and now I have basically another instance of dual attack, drew another card, and that's some pretty good value there. So I think that worked out really well. We've drawn into Cell Xeno, so now I'm pretty much looking for any way I can play that to the field. And I'm going to draw 2 off Unite Assemble. I'm going to play a Chapill. So this is actually going to give me 5, 9, 10, 12 for Cell Xeno. And I remember at this point in the game, I was really debating whether or not I wanted to play the Cell Xeno or whether or not be a little bit greedy. And I think I ultimately opt to not play it this turn because I want to get the max value out of it. I want to get the, additional the additional hand rip out of it. So I don't actually drop Cell Xeno this turn, which is a little bit, it's weird because I actually chose the non-greedy play, but I think the greedy play here was actually the better play. We'll see how it unfolds though as the turn goes on. So he's standing back up with his Cell Xeno, and I think before, like a turn or 2 ago, our hand disparity was a lot more even. Now it seems as though I do have a bit more of an advantage. I also have the board state advantage, but a lot of that is made null and void by Bibbidi, although again I do know that he has 2 Bibbidi's in his drop area, so that definitely looks good for me. Unfortunately, he can't play the Vegeks Champ Pack here because he does have a board. He has to have no board in order to mill it, but it is still a very good card. In our testing that we had the other day, he definitely made use of that Vegeks Champ Pack card, so I think it is very, very good, worth playing for sure. So he's tapping 3, going right into Space-Time Synthesis. He's going to fuse from the Warp. This is a good way to do this because, 1, I'm tapped out, so no Giant Ball, no Crusher Ball, things like that. And I don't have my Unison, so that's really important to recognize. I don't have my Unison, so I cannot free play the Vegeta Crusher Ball type card, the SS4 Prideful Transformation. So a little bit unfortunate there. He's going to Awaken here. Now he has a pretty strong board here. I just talked about how I kind of had the board pressure, the board presence advantage, but John's board here is quite impressive, very threatening. And again, I'm tapped out. Now, of course, I can Awaken, do some things like that. I do have the Sparking. Actually, I hope I have the Sparking 4-time magic, although I can pretty easily build it if I need to build it. He is going to mill the Unison here, which is very good. Again, a little too late because he can't put the Double Strike on it just yet. But if this game goes another 2 turns, he will be able to drop that Double Strike on it. And again, that's a lot of pressure. I mean, he already has 2 showing Double Strikers, probably has the free Xeno Evolve for the 7-drop Vegeks in his hand. So that is looking pretty solid. He's going to activate main on the Unison, give it plus 10 by discarding a card. So we have Vegeta attacking into Basil. So I just took a peek. I'm at 6 cards in life. Looks like he's not going to go ultra aggressive on the life here. And unfortunately... Oh, never mind. So we're going to use the ability to tap an energy. I think I did that wrong. I'm pretty sure it has to be done on the first attack, but it is a playtesting session. So, you know, we're pretty much trying to get the best plays out of each other, learn from our mistakes, that type of thing. You know, of course, I do make the occasional play mistake as well. So we're going Vegeta into the Bardock. Sorry, Vegeks into the Bardock. That's not Vegeta. So he's in a combo. Go to 25. I'm going to let it go. If I had his Monster Super Combo in hand, it would be very, very good to do that. To use it, tap either the Vegeks or the Goku. It kind of doesn't matter at this point. But unfortunately, we did not have a Zamasu Super Combo in the hand. He is going Goku Xeno at Bergamo. So I think this is a really interesting play line. A lot of people talk about, you know, the right play and the wrong play. I don't necessarily think this is the wrong play, but it is interesting that he's aiming to clear my board rather than put on a crazy amount of pressure here. And I mean, that being said, the Vegeks on its own, attacking my leader at 5 life, is still a lot of pressure in and of itself. So I do have the Spark Negate for that. He is going to play the 30k Vegeks, and I definitely am in a bit of trouble here because that's a big swing. We're taking it. We're going to 2. So again, I don't think John made the wrong play. He could have quite possibly went for game, although I do have a lot more cards in hand than he does. So actually in this situation, I think I would say he made the right play, but I think there was definitely 2 play lines there. One going for game, one going for clearing the board. I think both had their merits. So I do want to talk about that when people talk about the right play, the wrong play. I think there's definitely plays that have merit, and one might not necessarily be right while the other one might be. So this is why I play a 2 of this Vegeta Unison. It's not for an early game Unison, it's for a late game win con. So again, I talked about before, I kind of probably messed up by not dropping Cell Xeno, but we draw into the Vegeta Unison, and I definitely am using this as a late game win condition. I tap him out, I have a 20k Double Striker, still have my Awaken. So here we're comboing Bardock, 30k Double Strike. He's got 2 cards in hand, my Vegeta restands. Now, since I tapped him out, his options are Power Burst or Bibbidi. I know he has at least 2 Bibbidi's in the drop, possibly a 3rd. So we'll see what we get out of him in this attack. And now I am really deciding what to combo into this. I want to force him to use a Bibbidi, but I don't want to over combo. So it's really important here to calculate how big his Bibbidi super combo will be, also by knowing how many Bibbidis he has in the drop area. All that information is really important. That's exactly why I comboed 30k, because it would at least force a Bibbidi, considering it a very small hand size and he can't use any 10k combos. So guys, that was the gameplay. I think it was a very good game. I think there's a lot of good learning points in that game. Again, let me know in the comments below what you want to see in terms of these coaching videos. Do you want to see the raw coaching commentary, or do you want me to commentate over the gameplay? Let me know what you prefer. Thanks for watching. I will see you guys next time.